Hey YouTubers, and today we're back with another Dragon Ball discussion. Today I'm joined by Dimzy from Dimzy's Domain. You want to say hey man?
What's up everyone? Great to be here.
And today we're going to actually talk about something that's actually kind of very topical for the Dragon Ball community right now, and it's why exactly can't Cabba go Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Super? Now, I have a couple of theories right here, like about two ones that I actually think are really pretty big, and I'm just going to throw them out there to you, Dimzy, and you kind of like just tell me what you think about these, whether you think it's like feasible or not. And the first one is like actually the one I kind of least am with, but I'll just kind of throw it out there anyway to you and anyone else who's listening. And that is, what if he's just lying about not being able to go Super Saiyan? So I know that like a lot of people say, oh well, no, he's not lying or something, but we've already seen this happen in episode 34 where we figured out that Frost was actually lying about being a good guy, where he was actually just kind of like the Universe 6 equivalent to Frieza with a different perception on like who they are, with Frieza actually being like a monarch kind of tyrant who goes around and conquers planets regardless of anything, and Frost kind of doing it more of a backdoor thing with actually starting wars in private and finishing them very publicly. And just like in Universe 7, what if Universe 6, instead of Frost just like working with the Saiyans kind of in tandem, what if he's actually kind of paying them and they're his mercenaries and stuff, and they're kind of going for, and Cabba is still trying to go for like this kind of a down-earth, like we aren't as strong as we think or everyone thinks we are and everything, but we're actually kind of evil just like the Universe 6 or Universe 7 Saiyans and anything like that. So like actually, instead of not being able to go Super Saiyan, instead of being surprised by all that stuff, in general he's actually just kind of fibbing and just kind of play his cards close to his chest right now. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, we know that these universal doppelgangers are not exactly complete opposites because they do share certain characteristics. For example, Whis and Vados have a similar demeanor in terms of their mysterious. Champa and Beerus are both very, very childish and petty in terms of how they act, and we all know that Frost and Frieza are pretty much the same, the equivalent of each other. However, the Saiyan race is a massive race, it's a complex race, and the thing is, we had good people, we had bad people. Of course, it skewed more towards the bad and the more savage side. The reason why I don't think this is the case is simply because, although this is, you can argue, hey, this is still a cop-out, but Cabba's reaction to Frost's sudden turn was a bit weird. And if he is on the payroll, why would he be so shocked that the little battle that he shared with Frost on Planet Mayonnaise against the space pirates, although yeah, he could still be active, but at the same time Vados, it seems that Vados picked Frost to be the only black sheep, the only bad guy who's going to compete for Universe 6 against Universe 7. And also also Cabba is the younger guy, as in he looks far younger, far more less experienced in terms of combat in regards to Goku and Vegeta, although he has fought many galactic wars. Cabba to me is reminiscent of a Gohan, so purely because of that, I do think that if he was older, he would have known more about Frost's evil side, and Frost's little venture of him being an evil galactic overlord, whatever. It seems like he's keeping it a secret against most people, and he only speaks with admins or people who he's going to be trading planets with. So I don't think that holds much weight that Cabba is lying.
Okay, but just to take that a little step further from what you said, like, you know that one thing we do know definitely about the Universe 7 Saiyans is that they're very prideful, and they're very adamant about their pride and everything. They're not the type of people who would lie, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Frieza in Universe 7 is not the type of person who would play that game. Like, he wouldn't try to make himself look like a hero when he wasn't. He had no care or worry about that and everything. So, like, in one way you feel like, okay, well, like, obviously, are we alluding to a lot of the stuff that we know from Universe 7 Saiyans? Like, they're very prideful. Like, obviously, a Universe 7 Saiyan would not be lying about one thing or another. Like, they wouldn't just like be very open about how they feel and everything. What if, just like Frost is that Frieza, Cabba is to the Universe 7 Saiyans, where he's not prideful or anything. Like, he can lie, he can act like an innocent little child until he's in trouble, and then backs someone into a wall and be like, okay, no, I'm actually really strong, and you're done for. Like,
But in terms of the sequence of events, would it really make sense to have, hey, we have a bad guy, a sudden reveal that, hey, Frost is a bad guy, and then another one that follows it that Cabba is a bad guy as well? It would really piss off many people, and not in the way that, oh wow, I never expected this. Yes, we didn't expect it, but we're disappointed with it, because I would be disappointed, and I think it's kind of a crappy move to play that card, don't you think?
Oh no, I'm definitely in agreement that it's actually kind of a crappy thing to do. I'm just saying in terms of like what we've seen thus far. I mean, in terms of like, they played that hand with Frost so effortlessly and so ridiculously early, or anything. Like, it was just, it took away, at least in my opinion, the whole concept of there being good Frieza was, at least there was something to kind of make a general difference. Like, they're the same person in both universes, they just go about with perceptions different ways.
By him being evil, that would also take away the option, well, in my head it would take away the option for Vegeta to truly want to visit Planet Salad, because Vegeta was really impressed that, hey, these guys, this race, my own race in this other universe, have been living a life and been adopting a role in their universe which is completely different to what I'm used to. So, but if he finds out they're exactly the same, what's the point of Vegeta wanting to even visit Planet Salad in the first place? So that takes away, it does more harm than it does good,
well,
in terms of options for the story.
Well, you and I are in a little bit of a different kind of perception on that. I am still of the opinion that they're not going to Planet Salad ever. Like,
I think they are. I think.
I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just saying in terms of what's gonna happen, how much show we left is there in Dragon Ball Super is really still up in the air a lot right now. But I'm of the perception that he's not going to Planet Salad, and him being evil, or Cabba being evil, would give a lot of kind of credit to the point that they're actually not going. And you know, I know that this is like, that's really up in the air though. I realize that having another bad guy reveal right after another, like after her first bad guy reveal, is one thing, and it might be a little too much. And at that point, they would kind of definitely have to make Hit a good guy, in my opinion. Yeah. Although he kind of still looks like it, but that's getting way off topic.
But a quick little addition to that train of thought is the fact that there's, if this tournament, and if let's say they don't go to Planet Salad, and after this arc there's a little bit more and it ends up and it wraps up Dragon Ball Super, how many bad guys are you going to face on the way? So there's going to be a big bad, and of course you allude perfectly that it's stemming more towards none other than Vados. But if you have so many bad guy reveals, or let's say Cabba is a bad guy, Hit's more of a neutral guy, neither good nor bad, I think it's going to take away from it. And I think that's one of the reasons why it would be stupid and lack a bit of common sense to make him a bad guy this early, especially.
Well, I agree with that. And before we move on here, I would just say, while I agree with that, I feel like the same holds true for having Frost as a bad guy. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I feel like, you know, giving him, basically making him another Frieza does very little for the story or any impact that the series has brought up, like, regardless. Like, why is this becoming just the revisit Frieza show? I don't really understand it. But anyway, we're gonna move on. I actually have another thought on this that you and I have been talking about off air. And it's kind of like, what if, like, one thing that Super has been trying to do a lot ever since it started was kind of play up the fact that Goku and Vegeta actually don't really need to turn Super Saiyan at all. When they were training with Whis was talking to Beerus and saying that, well, they could be doing these exercises a lot quicker if they would just turn Super Saiyan, but I haven't told them not to turn Super Saiyan, they're just doing it on their own. Because they realize that if they can't train their bases, they won't ever be as strong as they really can be. Those Super Saiyan multipliers are just kind of a hindrance to their actual ability. And I know a lot of people have talked about it in very much length, that at the very end of the series we won't ever see them transform again, and there will be an implication that they'll never transform again. And what if Cabba is the person that kind of solidifies that fact for them? So what if, instead of actually turning Super Saiyan or anything like that, him and his entire race have just learned to kind of not ever turn Super Saiyan at all. They don't even really rely on the legendary prophecy because they learn to train their bodies. And I have a couple reasons that this is actually a decent idea, at least in my opinion. Is one, I've already made a video about it, with the fact that unlike the original Saiyans who fight very like as brutal, like just barbarians with their fists, with a lot of force in between, the only fighting style that we've seen from Cabba in any recent time is from the new opening that they have, where he's basically using his legs, like a taekwondo type thing, where instead of using like brute force, you actually use other people's momentum to attack with your legs, and it's a very peaceful type of fighting style. This would kind of take away anything that I've talked about previously with him being evil, but that's regardless of any point. And then if you take that and you think of like, okay, well, what if they're doing that? And one of the things that a lot of people have talked about, well, maybe he can't go Super Saiyan, but he can go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. I'm kind of against that theory too. I don't mind the fact that he can go Super Saiyan God, because obviously with having 6 pure-hearted Saiyans, or 5 for whatever reason, obviously Cabba should be able to go Super Saiyan God. He should be able to go Super Saiyan God, but without being able to go Super Saiyan, there's actually really no reason that he should be able to go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and not be able to go Super Saiyan in general. Because as the show and the movies have kind of implied, it's not actually going to a new form, it's just utilizing the Super Saiyan God power and then transforming into a Super Saiyan. So if he can't go Super Saiyan, he can't go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. So we're not going to be seeing a blue-haired Cabba in any form whatsoever. I do think though, like Goku before him in the earlier stages of Dragon Ball Super, once you've achieved that ritual, it kind of unlocks your latent potential and your body kind of grabs onto that power and you don't lose it very easily. And so if he were to have done that ritual for whatever reason, then his body has latched onto that power and it's helping him in his base form.
I agree, and I guess for him to do the ritual before, because we're both in agreement that Cabba is the strongest of the Saiyans, right? Because we agree that he's either some sort of prodigy or he's proven himself to his own race that, you know what, he's the strongest, and that's probably the only reason why Vados has picked him. But to add on to the thing that you said earlier about the fighting style, Cabba is adopting, from what we see, a fighting style which revolves mainly around using his legs, and therefore it looks more graceful and more peaceful, which would also foreshadow to the fact that he probably has better ki control. Now, having better ki control whilst also being unable to transform into a Super Saiyan, it makes me suggest, what if the Universe 6 Saiyans have unconsciously, or they've been doing it without really giving it too much notice, they've been keeping the ki within their body whilst training the base, inadvertently becoming far more stronger than the Saiyans of Universe 7 could have even hoped to, because the Saiyans of Universe 7 couldn't turn majority could not turn Super Saiyan, but they've been training their asses off with battle, with the Zenkai boost, etc., relying purely on rage and letting the ki pretty much explode out. So they're not really making as much progress. Now, by keeping the ki in, which of course is not really confirmed, but the fact that Cabba seems to adopt a different style. It looks more graceful, similar to Whis. Whis doesn't really go all out. He doesn't have these big power moves or these movesets which are quite exciting to watch. It's more, as you said, the Taekwondo reference, using the opponent's momentum against him, alluding once again a more peaceful and foreshadowing the fact that Cabba doesn't really need to go Super Saiyan if he can train his base, which is already similar to maybe, and this is a big maybe, the Saint above God state that we know that Goku and Vegeta already have. Vegeta purely because, and this is where there may be some debate, and you could comment down below what your thoughts are, that Vegeta could have attained the Saint above God state purely by training, by keeping his ki in, or maybe he's absorbed a little bit of the ki from the Super Saiyan God ritual. That's just my thoughts on that.
I mean, yes, and I feel like there's no problem in terms of that. I honestly feel like there's no problem with Cabba actually becoming the Super Saiyan God, based around if all of his race is good people and he's some sort of a prodigy who's gone off and become a hero outside of just the planet Salad and actually become something that whatever society or government they have. Obviously, if they're good, I don't necessarily imagine they have a monarch, but we would have to just wait and see if they ever go to Planet Salad, or if we get any information about him. It's like, what if, like he's gone off and he's fought with Frost or something, become a hero amongst the galaxy, and then They allow him to actually do the ritual, and he's some kind of prodigy and everything like that. So I don't really care about the whole Saiyan Beyond, like Saiyan Beyond God stuff. I'm just like, the whole argument I made with the whole Super Saiyan Blue type of transformation is, I don't think that that's possible. I mean, like,
yeah, but the thing is,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just saying that the Saiyan Beyond God thing is purely to push forward the fact that his strength level, and probably most of the the Saiyans of Universe 6 are at a much higher echelon than the one of Universe 7, and Cabba's base right now maybe it's probably attained the strength that was seen from the Saiyan above God, or beyond God, whatever it may be called, that Goku and Vegeta both adopt. And in that sense, why does he need Super Saiyan? But then the whole question is, why the hell is Goku and Vegeta turning Super Saiyan now? But that's another story, another video for another day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the one thing about all this is, whether that's true or not, the one thing that I'm just kind of a little bit irked about in that sense is, how is it that the Saiyans of Universe 6 are able to compete with that of the Universe 7 lot, where they have definitely come out of nowhere and actually gained this strength through trial and tribulation, where it would just seem with Universe 6 that they just get it based off of, like, okay, well, they've kind of kept up with their society, they're not brute force strength people and everything, they obviously don't want it, they're more peaceful, so they get it. And I understand that that's the point. I just feel like it's a little bit cheating, in fact, and it takes a whole lot away from what we've seen in previous iterations of Dragon Ball, be it Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, or even Dragon Ball GT. If Cabba can get this strength based off of, like, okay, well, he's grown up in a society that understands their abilities and their rituals and all this stuff, and you don't really have to work for it. In fact, a society that takes Frost, who was able to be taken down by Goku Super Saiyan, or even Piccolo with the Special Beam Cannon or Makaka Senpo. The thing is if that's who they look up to, or if that's like someone's like, okay, well, that's who they look up to and everything, I feel like with how easily Frost was taken out and everything, that there's no way that this series kind of puts it where I feel like Cabba has earned that tier of strength.
Although there is a slight difference, although it wasn't mentioned, I don't think it was mentioned in the anime, but they did mention it quickly in the manga, the fact that the difference between the Universe 6 and Universe Saiyans is the disappearance or the lack of tails.
Mm-hmm.
So could that play a part in some way to his transformation, to his not transformation, but his power level? Could that somehow explain his power? And also, I guess we need to touch on the fact that there is a yellow aura around him in the opening segment.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I just don't understand. I think, to me, that alluded to the fact that he could definitely go Super Saiyan, and that was it. But
or maybe that's just a little Easter egg in terms of when the hair becomes yellow, the aura leaks out, but you're keeping the aura within yourself. But then again, that doesn't explain the fact that why is Goku and Vegeta adopting this wasteful transformation when they know a far better, superior one, especially when they're battling in a battle of endurance in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
For anyone watching who's gotten this far, it is definitely weird, and we want to hear y'all's opinions about this in the comment section below, because honestly, we don't know. We won't really know for at least another 3 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, because we have a break these days. So I mean, we don't know, and we won't know for around a month. And who knows whether we'll get to it in the manga? Probably not. But we're just gonna have to keep our eyes open and kind of think about whether or not this is actually going to be something that plays out. Is he lying? Is he a product of just extraordinary measures? Is he a prodigy? Is whatever, has he learned how to use ki control? Does the tail have anything to do with it? There has to be a reason why he can compete with Vegeta at this stage in Vegeta's life. So, especially with how young he is.
Yeah, he does look young.
Yeah,
he looks very young.
He looks around. He looks like Gohan. And you know, before we go off, I do want to ask your question on this. And as long as we're talking about Cabba, because this doesn't necessarily deserve an entire video of itself. Why, if he's young, and I mean like he looks like he's Gohan young, right? Like Gohan during the Cell Game jump. and he grew up kind of like Gohan. But as we know, like Vegeta and Goku were childish. Same thing with Trunks and Goten, seemingly, and it's part of the Saiyan heritage. Like they kind of revert, they kind of like sprout up really quickly as they become like 16 or 17 or something like that. But it seems like without his tail, and that might be playing a part in it, without his tail, he's actually reverted into some kind of a normal growing habit. So it's like, what is he like normal for his race, or is that just a big difference between Saiyans of Universe 6 and 7? Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe a quick thing could be that maybe he's just short or something resembling that. You know how when we saw Turbo looked very, very young. Although people may question whether it's canon or not, but Turbo looked very, very young, and Vegeta is also very short. So maybe he's just a short guy who adopts quite a younger look. Because Turbo is older than Gohan, which it would make sense for him to be.
Turbo had to be in his 40s.
That's what I'm saying. So it could be something similar to that. Although I don't know.
This is going on. This is a pretty long video right now, but yeah, like definitely just make sure to leave your comments in the comment section below. Dimzy, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I'll just pose a final question to all the people who want to comment down below. We know that Gohan has a mystic form where he adopts a milky white aura, and we know that Goku and Vegeta have their own Super Saiyan God transformations, etc., which is so far exclusive to them, to those Saiyans of Universe 7. The aura that was yellow that we saw Cabba had in the opening of Dragon Ball Super, do you think that's going to be an exclusive form or an exclusive aura which is only for him? I don't know. That's just a question out there. So do speculate. Go for it.
That is rather interesting concept. Who knows whether or not he's figured out how to unlock a latent potential or something like that. Anyway, please do comment below what you think of that and anything else that we've said in this video. I will leave Dimzy's information and stuff in the description below. Definitely go make sure to check him out. He does some pretty awesome content. If you like Digimon or Dragon Ball or anything like that, definitely go check him out. He is a good source for that stuff. Anyway, thank you, Dimzy. Thank you for being on here today.
Anytime.
All right. Peace out, everyone. Have a good day.